and I'll be your MC today. We are so excited for this day of celebration. For those of us not in the construction industry, that would be myself, do not trust me with a hard hat. Topping out represents the completion of the structural steel phase of the project. We will begin the program momentarily, but I'd like to introduce our honorary guests as they come up to the stage. Let's welcome Bills and Sabres Chief Operating Officer Pete Gwelly. Buffalo Bills owner Terry Pegula. Joining him on stage is Laura Pegula. While Kim Pegula can't be here today, as this project was something she helped with from its inception, we want to recognize Kim Pegula today as well. The Governor of New York, Kathy Hochul. Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz. And the Commissioner of the NFL, Roger Goodell. I can't believe almost 2 years ago we were here for the groundbreaking ceremony, standing on a piece of land, excited about what was to come. Just 14 months ago, we laid the first column. This place is really coming to life. It's remarkable. We want to start off the program by thanking our stadium planning group, our friends at Gilbane Turner, Gilbane CEO Adam Jellin, Turner Chairman and CEO Peter Davorin, Highmark President Tom Fitzpatrick, leadership from legends, populists, the construction workers, tradespeople, and iron workers to get us to where we are today. We also have to shout out the general foreman in charge of erecting all of the steel and precast for Stonebridge, Billy Collern. Billy is a fourth-generation ironworker and a proud member of Local 6 who's here with his wife today. He's been an inspiration for everyone as he beats cancer. Way to go, Billy. Thank you so much for the long days and nights, the hard work in the snow, rain, wind, sleet, this crazy climate that we live in. It was important to get us to where we're at today. Bills owner Terry Pegula said he wanted a stadium built for Buffalo, and we're starting to see what that looks like right before our eyes. So far, I think you guys are nailing it. The estimated number of hours worked to this date is, get this, 1.7 million hours. That's an average of 6,000 hours per day. The tons of steel placed are more than 25,000. The equivalent of around 5,000 elephants. 104,000 pounds of explosives have been used for excavation, the equivalent of about 10 elephants. I guess I do all my measurements in elephants. Talking to Bills players and members of Bills Mafia, people are ecstatic about this new state-of-the-art stadium. When you drive by, you can't help but slow down, pull down your window, take a couple pictures safely, and dream about what's to come. Bills Mafia is so excited to scream for their team in a new environment. The players are eagerly awaiting getting to play in the coolest new NFL stadium. Today, we will hear from several leaders from the Bills, the NFL, and the state of New York. I would like to welcome someone who has literally poured his heart and soul into the new Highmark Stadium. Someone we are so lucky to have that cares about the Buffalo part of the Buffalo Bills. It's our owner, Terry Pegula. Terry has been the owner for 10 incredible years. In that time, the Bills have made it to the playoffs 7 times and won the AFC East 5 times in a row. Let's just pencil that in for 6. Terry also got to add overseeing the drafting of a now MVP quarterback to his list of accomplishments once Josh Allen was crowned MVP in February. with how successful the team has been on the field and the culture he has put in place off the field, I think it's safe to say this stadium is going to be a smashing success. Terry?
I should congratulate Josh. He now makes more money than I do. Was that funny? You know, while gathering notes for today's event, my staff handed me a lot of statistics. And I saw two statistics that were like almost bizarre to me. The first one is our friend across the street. The groundbreaking for it was April 4th, 1972. The second stat, that stadium cost $22 million, and we're at pretty much 100 times that. And I don't say that in a negative way, but it just goes to show you how times have changed since 1972. One thing that hasn't changed, there are hardworking Americans in this country, and we have a lot of them in our crowd today. Back in '72, my father was a truck driver, mechanic, and he was a teamster. What does my father have to do with what we're doing today? I remember he used to drive by construction projects that were finished, some dams, bridges, buildings, and he would say, I hauled the concrete that built that place. I hauled the stone. I hauled the steel. My father was very proud of what he did. So to me, today is not about Terry Pegula, Kathy Hochul, Mark Polencars, Roger Goodell. Today is about you hard workers, men and women. I was given a statistic, got to find it on my phone here. Breakdown of workers on site to date, 3,580 individuals. Electricians, carpenters, operating engineers, painters, on, and teamsters, just like my dad was. And iron workers. The list goes on and on. So I want to tell all the workers here, and I don't know how we're going to do this because I just thought of this yesterday. We are going to have a place at this stadium where if your grandchildren want to see you worked here, they can pull your name up. I don't know how, this is beyond my pay grade doing stuff like that. But they'll be able to come to the stadium and say, hey, my granddad or my father worked here. And I think you all deserve that. So we're going to put this piece of steel up, and we're calling it the topping off ceremony. It's the last piece of steel we're going to put on the stadium. I call it the first piece of building the rest of the stadium. And I know one thing, I'm not capable of getting it up there. But I know you guys know how to hook up to it, how to raise it, how to put it in there and bolt it in and get it done. And I want to thank you all for that. God bless you.
Terry, I think you're selling yourself short. I think you could raise that beam on your own. I believe in you. Maybe you could give it a try. Next up is someone who has quite a busy schedule, but has shown just how much she cares and values the Buffalo Bills, as well as the construction of a new amazing stadium. It's our Governor of New York, Kathy Hochul. Governor Hochul is the 57th governor of New York and New York's first female governor. Since she's from Buffalo, I know Governor Hochul is excited to cheer on the Buffalo Bills in the new Highmark Stadium. Governor Hochul.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, how sweet it is to have left Albany during budget season. And I'm sure the press will give me a hard time, but my meeting's at 2 o'clock this afternoon. I'll go to 2 in the morning, so don't worry about that. But this is where I needed to be right here, right now. Thank you, Marv Levy. Because this symbolizes the greatness of our state and its people. And I also want to say this. I'm going to nominate Terry Pegula, Kim Pegula, and the entire family as Buffalo-owned MVP ourselves. They're our MVPs. They have made this magic happen. They have brought hope back to this region, a sense of pride in all of us, and it feels so good. Because I remember those days in 1972. My grandfather just retired after spending a lifetime at the steel plant, where he worked with his sons, my father, the hard work in the coal blast furnace. But all he wanted to do when he retired, not go to Florida, but get season tickets to the Buffalo Bills, and that's what he got from all of us, and he was at the very first season in 1972 when we started here. So this is in my DNA. I remember Jack Kemp. No one here is old enough to remember Jack Kemp, do you? Okay. Terry and I remember Jack Kemp. He was kind of the Josh Allen of our time, but didn't really jump over defenders and do things like that, but he was really a big deal to us, right? So I've been watching this sport since I was a little kid. You couldn't come to dinner at the dinner table with all my brothers and my dad and not know the statistics and the trades and how we were doing against the Packers and everybody else. It was how I was raised. So I am proud to be the first governor from Buffalo since Grover Cleveland. I'm proud to be the first woman governor. But I'm also proud to be the biggest Buffalo Bills fan that governor's office has ever seen. So to all my colleagues in government, I thank you. This was an effort that had to happen not just in our offices, but also in the legislative floor. And I want to thank Majority Leader Crystal Peoples-Stokes for being a great champion and helping get it through. Our Senator Sean Ryan's here. Senator April Baskin's here. Mayor Chris Scanlon's here. And of course, Mark Polenkars, who was at the negotiating table with me from the very beginning. I want to thank that partnership that found the resources to help make this happen. So thanks to all of them, but Terry's absolutely right. Politicians can do so much. But it's the people wearing the hard hats that made this happen. And I know, just as he was saying, you will go by here and bring your kids and grandkids and maybe even their kids to the games here and say, I was a piece of that. I helped make this happen. At a time sometimes when people start giving up on our cities and our regions. And yes, we're in for some tough times in the next few years because I can feel it already. But one thing I know about Buffalonians and people from Western New York, we are tough, we are resilient, and nothing keeps us down, and the men and women in labor make it happen. Let's give another round of applause to all the hard workers. They work through horrible ice storms and blizzards and floods and all the things that Mother Nature threw at you, and you kept showing up day after day so we could play ball on time next season. So I'm so proud. I'm a little excited, as you can tell. I feel like I'm at a game, right? But I'll tell you this. Lastly, what this team and this stadium have done is something that's really hard to say happens in other parts of our country. And that is to unify people, to make people feel, regardless of your political affiliation. I know when I walk through the crowds, as I did just back in January, and my state police detail has a heart attack, because I'm walking right down, high-fiving everybody, talking to everyone. It doesn't matter who's a Democrat, Republican, or non-affiliate. It doesn't matter, because we all have a common bond, and that is our love for Buffalo and the Buffalo Bills, and that is enduring. And we need to see more of that. Whether I'm at my sports bar in New York City, where I tell you I have converted more fans to this team than anybody in history. And I tell them, and I know I get in trouble for this, the only team that plays in New York, right? The only team that plays. No, Jets and Giants fans love you. But when your team is not playing the Bills, I know you're a Buffalo Bills convert, because I can feel it throughout this state. And all I wanted to do is unify this state, and we did it around this amazing team and all the amazing people made this happen. I am so proud. Congratulations. And I cannot wait a year and a half from now when we go into that stadium and march in there and say we've got the greatest facility in all of America, and it is our own in Buffalo. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Governor Hochul. I love what you said about tough and resilient, that Buffalo is tough and resilient. I think it reflects all of the construction workers working through those long nights, early mornings. Thank you so much. Now I'd like to welcome to the stage Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz. County Executive Poloncarz has been in the position for more than 10 years and is currently serving in his 4th term. County Executive Poloncarz has done so much to help the Bills over the several years that he's been serving. Just like all of us in the crowd, he can't wait to watch Josh Allen win multiple MVPs in this new stadium. And how about a couple AFC championships as well?
Thank you, Maddie. I'm looking forward to that Super Bowl win, tell you the truth. I got to follow the governor, and she's pretty fired up. And now she's going to a budget negotiation in Albany. I hate to be the Speaker of the Assembly or the Leader of the Senate, because they're going to have to deal with the governor, and she is in a good mood. And to all of our guests here, especially those who've come and flown into Buffalo and Erie County, just so you know, this is what our weather is like every day during the spring. It's sunny, it's beautiful. And it just, Mother Nature is shining on us, because it wasn't sunny and beautiful yesterday, and it's going to be a little wet tomorrow, but someone's looking out for us, so thank you. I just want to know, when you stand next to the stadium, the future home of our beloved Buffalo Bills, you realize not only how big the stadium is, but the impact this stadium has had in this community. And all you got to do is look at all the men and women there. Every single one of them who's worked on this. Thousands of construction workers. And it's true, the stories you'll be telling your kids and your grandkids, that you were part of the construction and building of this stadium. The first commissioner of the Public Works Department that I had in my administration was John Lafredo. We lost John Lafredo in the last year, and this is something he'd be especially proud of, because he worked on the construction of the stadium across the street. And he used to talk about how through all the projects that he, Erie County and the other jobs he had, City of Buffalo, that was the one he was most proud of. That was the one he talked to his family about, was building the home of the Buffalo Bills. And that's what this is about. Each and every one of you there is building the home of the Buffalo Bills for the next 30 years, and it's something that we can all be proud of. But we can also be proud of the investment that this had in our community, the thousands of good-paying jobs from our local Buffalo buildings trades. I want to give a shout out to the Buffalo buildings trades and all that they do to create a better community. And I want to thank my partners in Erie County government that are here today who supported this. Of course, our great governor and the delegation in New York State, they took some heat. There was some criticism of this, but I don't know how you can stand next to this and criticize it, because what we've done is ensure the future of this team for 3 more decades, and it's something that has had an incredible economic impact in our community. So to the governor and our friends in state government, thank you for your commitment to this project. Of course, to Terry, Kim, and the entire Pegula family, thank you for your commitment to this community. There are other cities in the United States that want a professional football team, but I can tell you this, they're not getting the Buffalo Bills because of the commitment of this family. I want to thank the entire Buffalo Bills family, because I know the hard work that they're putting into this, starting from not only Mr. Pegula, but each and every one of the individuals. They're trying to run a football team, they're trying to win a Super Bowl, and they're building the biggest project in Erie County's history. So thank you, John Polka and your team. And once again, to our friends and construction workers, I just want to thank you for all that you're doing. We got a beautiful day today. It isn't always beautiful when it's on site here. You've worked in some adverse conditions, but this stadium is on time. It's going to open next year. We're going to see Josh Allen running out of that tunnel and the rest of the Buffalo Bills following it. And each and every one of you are the reason that it's here and it's happening today. It'll happen in 2026. And it's something that we can all be proud of. So thank you all for the work that you've done, and go Bills. Thank you all.
Thank you, County Executive Poloncarz. You are so right about the economic impact that this stadium is going to have on Orchard Park, Buffalo, and Western New York as a whole. To finish up today's wonderful lineup of speakers, I'd like to introduce the Commissioner of the NFL, Roger Goodell. Commissioner Goodell took office nearly 20 years ago and since then has grown the game of football into becoming a global sport that people can't get enough of. I think we should just jump to 20 games because we can't get enough of Buffalo Bills football. This is not a ribbon cutting ceremony. This is a topping out ceremony. I think that speaks to just how important this event is to Commissioner Goodell and how much he cares about each and every NFL team and how much he cares about the brand of the Buffalo Bills. We want to thank him for being here today. He took some time out of his busy schedule to be here in Buffalo.
Thank you. It's a real thrill for a kid from Jamestown, New York, to be here today. Having come to this stadium across the street for many years, and now to see what's behind me, I sort of wish I was a kid going into that stadium, because it is just remarkable. And another shout out for all of you guys. You did it, and thank you for all the hard work and tough circumstances. So thank you very much. As I mentioned, I'm a Western New Yorker myself, and I think when I think back about the importance of this community, I know how much the Bills mean to this community. It's part of the spirit, it's part of the identity, the grit, the hard work, and I really believe this is going to secure this franchise here for decades. And kids of ours, kids of all those workers are going to be coming to this stadium thinking about the great tradition of the Buffalo Bills, and it doesn't happen without leadership. I want to start with Terry and his family, particularly Kim, who I know we wouldn't be here without Kim's leadership. Thank you, Kim. But Terry wanted to build something that meant something to this community, that was a point of pride for everybody here, and I think he's achieving that. And I think when we see those Buffalo Bills come out on opening day, we'll all feel that even more. So, Terry, thank you for that tremendous leadership. And Governor, to you, I know you did take some heat, But thank you for your leadership. Thank you for standing up strong, your strength. And it wouldn't happen without leadership. And I see this all over the country. Our governor, she stood up and made this happen for this community, for the state of New York. And we are really proud of you, Governor. Thank you. And to our county executive, Mark, thank you. I know it's an ongoing relationship, and these are public-private partnerships. That's how these projects happen all over this country. And without that kind of leadership from the county, the state, it really doesn't happen. So we're proud to be part of that. But most importantly, I want to congratulate the fans. This community has fans like no other community. Their passion, their pride in this community, you can feel it every time you walk into the stadium, but more importantly, when you even watch it on television. And this is going to be a symbol of the Buffalo community and the Buffalo Bills all over the globe for decades to come. And that is going to make me proud every day I see it. And so thank you for that leadership. To the Buffalo Bills fans, to your core, you're as loyal as they get. And I know you can't wait for the next chapter in the history of the Buffalo Bills. So thank you. This is your home. Enjoy it, and I'll see you on opening day. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Goodell. I love that he pointed out Bills Mafia. In a lot of ways, we wouldn't be here today without our loyal fan base who is going to pack the new Highmark Stadium. That concludes our speaking portion of this ceremony. We want to thank you so much for our speakers today. You guys did a wonderful job. At this time, we're going to ask our guests on the stage to join Penny near the beam where we're going to get ready to raise it. Just a reminder to our guests here today, we're going to have a great reception across the street right after. There's going to be a shuttle service taking everyone to that reception. For our elected officials, we have reserved the first shuttle for you. We want to thank everyone so much for coming out today to help celebrate such a big accomplishment. And thank you to those who have put their heart and soul into this project. We are so proud of all the work you have done. I think we can officially call today the first tailgate at the new Highmark Stadium. How do we feel about that? To our guests seated in the crowd, if you would like a better view of the raising of the beam, please feel free to go ahead and exit the tent for that viewing. We will begin that momentarily. Thank you, everyone.
Wow, quite the impressive lineup of speakers there, from Terry Pegula to Roger Goodell and the county executive governor in between.
Yes, we've heard from all of those speakers, and earlier today, hundreds of those construction workers were signing the beam. You see it there with the American flag and with the New York State flag and the Bills flag, and then you also see the evergreen tree that is on the top of the beam. Now that is a symbolic gesture that goes back centuries and has roots in ancient European customs, but that evergreen tree means the symbol of life and growth, and it represents life, growth, and good luck, even in the face of adversity. It's honoring nature and land, warding off evil or bad luck, and also the celebration of completion and pride. And it serves as a marker of achievement, a symbolic crown placed atop this steel beam to recognize the hard work of the construction crew. That's why that is there.
Yeah, and every one of the speakers made sure that they saluted the construction workers and the thousands that have taken part in the construction of this stadium to this point. And we're only at the halfway point, and you look at the number of man hours that are going to be going into this once the project is complete, 6,222,128 man hours that will be going into the overall construction of the new Bills Stadium, the new Highmark Stadium that is right there in Orchard Park. And there you see Pete Gwelly and Terry Pegula, Governor Kathy Hochul, Roger Goodell, and
Laura
county
Pegula
executive.
standing right next to Terry Pegula as
Yep,
well.
County Executive Mark Poloncarz is on the end. And every one of them made mention of Kim Pegula and how she was there in spirit and how she was kind of the driving force in getting this off the ground.
Some of the loudest applause that we heard today was for Terry Pegula when he said today is not about the dignitaries on stage. It's about the hard workers, the men and women who are behind building this stadium that is, all of them, represent those workers that, are putting their blood, sweat, and tears into the stadium that will keep the franchise here in Western New York for decades to come, as Roger Goodell said. But that really evoked a lot of applause from the audience when he said it's not about the dignitaries, it's about the hardworking men and women. I also found it really interesting when Terry said that the groundbreaking with the original rock pile was April 4th, 1972, and he said it cost $22 million. The current Bill Stadium cost $22 million. We're 100 times that right now.
Yeah. It was really a weird coincidence that the groundbreaking for Rich Stadium was the same date as the topping out ceremony for this. And as you can see, that structural steel being raised to the top, and it is the last piece of structural steel. And I thought it was kind of cool when he also said that this isn't a topping out, it's the beginning of the rest of the construction.
Right. We have crews out there right now, including our Nate Benson. Nate, what's happening right there at the ceremony?
Well, right now, right behind me, they are raising the beam right now. I'm not sure if we've got our other camera able to be pulled up at this time, but the thousands of construction workers that are on scene right now they've all got their cell phones out. They've all gathered outside here to watch the final beam of the new Highmark Stadium get risen into the sky. As you can see right now, it's really quite a sight here for all of these construction workers that have been working here for well over 18 months to try and get this stadium complete. All the dignitaries just wrapped up, as you mentioned a short time ago. A few things that stood out was what Roger Goodell said, that this is going to secure the franchise here in Buffalo for decades. Obviously, Terry Pegula pointed out that it was April 4th, 1972, when the groundbreaking of the old Highmark Stadium, shovels were in the ground for that, and now here we are so many years later putting up the final beam of the new Highmark Stadium, which again, as Goodell said, will secure the franchise here for decades. Another thing that stood out to me during the press conference was how Roger Goodell said we wouldn't be here without Kim Pegula. Now, Kim Pegula was not here in person, but Terry and the other members of his family was, and obviously she is here in spirit, as Terry said. And Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, also pointed out that this community has no fans like any other community, and they really stand out. And this will be a symbol for Buffalo all over the globe, and that it will make him proud. So certainly a big day here as that final beam gets risen into the sky with all the hardworking men and women who made this happen over the last 18 months or so when the groundbreaking began back in June of 2023. And here we are after a very, very long winter. I spoke to one construction worker earlier this morning, and he said it was absolutely brutal winter for them to get all this work done. So certainly, a beautiful day here in Orchard Park, topping off this beam, Pete and Melissa.
And as we see our drone shot, we got a great vantage point of them putting that last piece in place. And I thought it was kind of cool that Governor Kathy Hochul talking about her memories of Jack Kemp, because we are bridging the gap between all three Bills stadiums with that reference. Jack Kemp, of course, playing in the 60s in the old rock pile, and that team producing two great quarterbacks who were also great politicians.
Yes.
Former County Executive Ed Rutkowski and Jack Kemp, the longtime congressman.
And from the sky view to live shot, it is incredible to see these construction workers walking on the steel beams themselves as they're helping this final steel beam be put into place. I was wondering where it was going to go, so it's really neat to see that it's, you know, part of the roof, part of the canopy there, and it'll be, right now it's got the Bills flag, the American flag, the New York State flag on it, along with hundreds of signatures of some of the construction workers and dignitaries that are there. Again, 1,200 workers on site every day. That's going to go up to 1,500 as we progress, 1,500 per day. And again, that evergreen tree there, that is a symbolic gesture. It represents life, growth, and good luck. It's a symbolic crown of sorts to recognize the hard work of the construction crew. So that's why that is there, and it might stay there until some more work is complete.
Yeah, and you know what was kind of funny was when they were talking, I think it was Roger Goodell talking about the different workers there, the plumbers, the electricians, and then all of a sudden you hear a loud voice say, and the iron workers.
Exactly.
That just shows you the pride.
And their passion.
And their passion, yeah, absolutely, because they're not only there in their profession, they're there representing Bill's Mafia in the future.
And Terry Pegula, during his speech, he said, you know, I just had this idea a couple days ago. I want to have some sort of reference or computer system where kids and grandkids and great-grandkids can come to the stadium and look up their mom or their dad or their grandparents who worked on this stadium and be able to say, my dad, my grandpa, my grandma was part of this and helped to build this stadium and keep the Bills here in Buffalo. So that was a nice gesture, and Terry Pegula evoked a lot of applause when he said that. He also started with a great joke. He said, I should congratulate Josh because he makes more than I do now. Yeah. Coming from Terry Pegula, who now I think the Bills are estimated to be worth, or Terry Pegula's net worth is now estimated to be more than $7 billion.
Yeah, it's in, you know, we were watching as Mr. Pegula was talking. We've seen him in press conferences over the years, you know, the opening of Harbor Center, the unveiling when he took over the Sabres, this, that, and the other thing. That is the most just calm and personable and just in the moment press conference I've ever seen him give.
Yeah, he doesn't like giving press conferences or isn't really comfortable, to be frank. And so he really spoke to the crowd, spoke to Western New Yorkers, and spoke to Bill's Mafia at this topping out ceremony. Again, this is not a ribbon cutting, but we've got Roger Goodell here representing the NFL to be here and congratulate all of the workers who are now putting that final steel beam in place. So it's great to see him. He talked about being you know, a kid from Jamestown. He said it's a real thrill for a kid from Jamestown to be here. And he said, I know how much the Bills mean to this community, and this stadium is securing the franchise here for decades, for at least the next 30 years.
You know, it's almost a shame that they can't have that beam with all the signatures and everything exposed to the public after the stadium is complete.
Yeah.
Because, you know, years from now, you'll see the different people that signed it. We mentioned off the top that at the KeyBank Center, one of the signatures on that last final piece of structural steel was a 7-year-old named Patrick King.
Yeah.
And it'll be funny to see, you know, years from now, we'll hear about different people that signed that.
Yeah, and one of them is Norm Marshall. Our Nate Benson has been there all morning, and we spoke with Norm early on in our streaming newscast around 9 a.m., and he is one of the construction managers out there, and Nate grabbed him real quickly for an impromptu interview. And Norm was almost in tears. He works for Gilbane, and he was just talking about how this is so much more than a job, but it's something that he's really proud of, and he knows how important every hour of work that they put in, every minute of work, they need it to be perfect. And he also knows that he's leaving his legacy here, and his, you know, his fingerprints are on this stadium, and his grandkids will be able to appreciate it. And so it was really a beautiful interview. We'll be able to post that on online so you can hear what he had to say. But to hear from the real men and women behind the construction of this Bills Stadium is great to hear today, because today is all about them.
Yeah, and how important was it to him? He came out of retirement to work on this stadium. And there are countless stories, and we're going to be gathering those stories throughout the day and have complete coverage throughout the day, both online and also on Channel 2 News throughout the evening.
So again, The ceremonial groundbreaking was June 5th, 2023. We're at April 4th right now, halfway through the construction process and progress, and they do expect to have this open on time in about a year and a half, June or July of 2026, so that the Bills can start playing in it that fall.
Yep, April 4th, 2025, the topping out ceremony. April 4th, 1972, the ribbon cutting or the start of construction at the original Rich Stadium across the street.
So congratulations to all of the men and women and the thousands of workers who are behind this new Bill Stadium. It's been a pleasure to bring you the topping out ceremony, and we now are going to go to Channel